Hello! So someone commented about relationships, and heck, that's something common. So I thought I'd give it a twirl and make this video for y'all interested in relationships. Now, I don't have much experience with romantic relationships, so I'm just going to keep it to what I do have experience with, which are just relationships in general, relating to others, to people, to humans, because life is relational, isn't it? We live it in relation to others. So let's see, what are we going to talk about? As you know, I don't really know what's going to talk about until it's talked about. But I think kindness, kindness, and how does that transform relationships when you're kind to yourself? Oh, okay, that's a good one. Let's start there. So if you're kind to yourself, first of all, what does that mean? We presume to know a lot of things that we don't really think about. We don't think things through. So what does kindness mean? What does it really mean to be kind to ourselves? Let's just see if we can first get a grasp of that. Well, what is it not to be kind to ourselves? Well, judging ourselves, that's not kind. What is a judgment though? Let's even look into that. A judgment is the obvious. Oh, it shouldn't be like this. I'm terrible. Or actually the obvious one is, I'm terrible, I'm an awful person. How terrible am I? That's an obvious judgment. But a not so obvious judgment is also like, I shouldn't be the way I am right now. In any form that takes. It might be, I should be better than I am right now. But you know what? That's a judgment. Judging yourself to be incomplete. You're saying, I'm not complete right now. I should be better. I should be more complete. I should be more this. I should be more that. I want this, more this, more this for myself. I should be like this, like this. So it's really exhausting. Judgment, the quality of it is that it's quite exhausting. It requires quite a high cognitive load to be constantly judging ourselves and evaluating ourselves. And I want to differentiate, with reflection, so reflecting about ourselves is quite different to judging ourselves. Reflecting is, well, how did I behave there? Like, why? Where did that come from? What was the motivation behind that behavior? Okay, so if I was at dinner and I had a good friend of mine over, a mentor, who I consider my good friend. I don't know if he considers me his good friend, but I consider him my good friend. So he's a mentor of mine, and just at the dinner table, I could recognize where there were weird motivations, like unloving, selfish motivations to do with ego, kind of coming out of the ego, wanting to appear a certain way. I noticed that, but I didn't judge myself for it. I did a little bit at the start, but then I just let go of that and came to just laugh at it, So that's that's what kindness is. Kindness is reflecting about ourselves, but not kicking ourselves for it. Instead, just laughing at it. That's what kindness is. So if I was being a prick in that instance, then I would reflect and see that, wow, that motivation, is that something I'm really interested in? Or I wasn't even aware of that before, now I am. And then judgment goes in and says, how horrible or how awful. Kindness just says, okay, how funny, awesome. What of it? What of it? Okay, so there's a reflection without judgment. That is possible. In fact, when you are unconditionally kind to yourself, that is the condition. Those are the conditions that bring about the greatest amount of growth. Kindness is that neighbor who welcomes you in, tells you, come on in, have a seat, grab a coffee, grab him some tea, tell me about your day. That's what kindness is. And so it's the same way with the feelings. Kindness, being kind towards yourself, is allowing yourself to feel whatever you're feeling, to allow those feelings to be there, even separating them from identifying with yours. Kindness is just allowing things to be as they are and giving them space to be as they are by releasing that judgment and that pushing away, Judgment is that neighbor who says, no, you can't come in. Your clothes are dirty. No, I don't like you. Or like pushes you out the door. And that's a lot of the times what we're doing, isn't it? We're pushing out the door all these feelings, all these stories. We're pushing it out, the things that we don't want. Well, kindness says, hang on, I'm just going to allow this to be here. Sure, come on, take your time, have some tea. And the thing is, as you invite everything to be within you as it is, without changing it, you enter this transcendence. You begin to transcend the things that were worrying you before. Guess what? Because you're becoming unconditionally kind. When you are unconditionally kind, there's nothing that can bother you. Because it's unconditional, right? No conditions are required for that kindness. You don't have to feel a certain way. You don't have to be given certain things. You are unconditional kindness. Like, you have become that quality embodied in this form. That's what you become. And therefore you transcend the things that worried you before. Why? Because you've invited them in. You've invited them in. You've invited them. So I just remembered that this is about relationships. So now let's segue into relationships. That was part 1. I want to keep this relatively short. It's already 7 minutes. So part 2, what about relationships? You can imagine how this is for relationships. I mean, this is so obvious, okay? When you're unconditionally kind with yourself, you now are able to be unconditionally kind with others. You reflect that quality. It means now, when they do things that upset you before, now you laugh at it. Now you're like, you welcome it. You say, well, we're only human, you know. Next time we can do something different if we want to, but that's okay also. So it's very chill. It's very like Zen. It's very relaxed. When you're unconditionally kind, you'll find that people kind of chill out around you. And probably you will find that you are quite a wonderful presence to have. It's like you become a gift to those around you. So really, you know, why, you know, there's a lot of questions about relationships. Like, how do I have a faithful relationship was a comment. Sorry if you're watching this. It's just whatever came to mind. Not nitpicking here. It just came up in mind. And like, I want a relationship. I want the right person. I want the partner. Well, why? So if we stop this for a moment and just investigate, what is it that you want out of that? Now, usually what is it that people want out of a relationship? Well, I mean, we can say to feel validated, to feel wanted, to feel accepted. To have someone who's kind to us, who's welcoming to us, who embraces us as we are. Well, rather than looking for that in a relationship, what you can do is you can just be that to yourself. Then, now you won't need a relationship for that. Which means you are that to yourself, and you can still have a relationship. Just want to make it clear. You can still have relationships. The difference is now you're not looking to get something out of this relationship. Which means you can just appreciate relationships as they are without wanting to change them. Because you only want to change something if you want to get something out of it. If you want to control it, manipulate it. But when you're unconditionally kind to yourself, you don't want anything out of it because you are it. The source of the happiness is seen to be within. It says, oh, when I'm happy with things, then I'm happy. I don't need anything to be happy. Same thing with kindness. When I'm kind to myself, then I feel this warmth and I feel this beauty and I'm filled with joy. I don't need anything to be that way. It's just an inner choice. Wow. Now you are free to enjoy relationships. That's the difference. It's pretty straightforward to me. This is any relationship. So I know at the start I said to general relationships, but this applies absolutely to romantic relationships also. When you're free of looking to get something out of it, you know, because when you want to get something out of it, when you've attached kindness to it, when you've attached your happiness, when you've attached love as the source of all these things in a relationship, guess what? You're going to be craving it. You're going to be like, tenaciously trying to defend it. But when you've seen that the source is within, you're really chill, you know? It's like, this is a nice relationship, but it's all good if it passes. I don't mind. I'll enjoy it as it is right now. And that's all there is to it. And you get to just enjoy it. You get to enjoy relationships. That means you get to enjoy them as they are right now. Think of every relationship you have right now. Unconditional kindness brings up this willingness to just accept everything as it is right now. Do you understand the kind of peace that brings? What is the cognitive load of judging, of trying to change every single relationship, every person? It takes a lot out of you. When you finally just be kind to yourself and to all, now you can just allow everything to be as it is. And that brings incredible peace and calmness and serenity are because you're not trying to change things. You're just accepting them. And what happens is, because people are still going to have questions about this, what happens is when you are kind, you now create, you be that, you radiate that, and now it's invitational. Kindness, compassion, love, these things, happiness, joy, bliss, laughter. They're invitational in nature, which means they don't enforce anything upon anyone. No enforcement, no attempts to control or manipulate. There's none of that. Instead, there's a power. It's like a magnetic field. It's just the presence of what you have become is invitational for the kindness within others to come out, to walk hand in hand together. But at the same time, you're not forcing it on them. You're not saying, be kind. It's like telling a plant, fuck you, plant, grow faster. That's what happens when we judge something. We're saying, oh, why is this plant the way it is? Obviously, because it's the way it is. Why is this person the way they are? Obviously, because it's the way they are. I mean, that's all there is to it. That's what unconditional kindness is. So rather than actually looking externally for this relationship, for faithfulness in a relationship, for these externalities to your own beingness, why not just stop and just inquire into what is it that I want out of this, and see, well, can I have that within myself right now? Do I need something? Do I really need this relationship? Or can I be that which I want for myself? Can I just be it? Can I be kind to myself? Can I be compassionate towards all of life? Then you'll start to see that magical, miraculous things occur, and life becomes increasingly more beautiful. So this is enough. It's already 14 minutes. I hope you enjoyed this video. Just inquire into what is it that you really want out of this relationship. Do you really need it? Discern that when you don't feel like you need it anymore, you have a breath of relief and release. And now, just because you don't need it doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. It's quite the opposite. When you no longer need anything anymore, when you're complete within yourself, now you can enjoy everything that life has to offer and be absolutely not attached to it. But non-attachment is not the source of happiness and joy, because people think, well, if I'm not attached to this relationship, I won't enjoy it. No, that is a misunderstanding. If you're not attached to it, you will enjoy it even more, because you enjoy the moment for what it is, not in your head thinking, what if this ends? You don't have that unconscious fear that this is going to end sometime. It is what it is. Everything will be as it will be. And I will enjoy what's in front of me. And I will die. I will die to this moment. I will surrender to this moment. And just be happy with things. It's really that simple. Anyway, so this was my little video. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment if you'd like. You can go on my website if you want to work with me. Leave a comment. I already said that. Leave a like. I didn't say that. Subscribe if you want more content like this. And I'll see you next time.